Hey guys, my name's Steve. I'm with Vetch Gaming. I am at the Project Cars booth kind of thing. Is it a booth? With Andy Tudor, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about Project Cars. So first of all, Andy, could you tell me a little bit about what Project Cars is?
So it's the only realistic, authentic, the most technically advanced racing game out there this particular year. There are other games out there which are, kind of arcadey action kind of experiences. But if you're looking for a kind of Forza and Gran Turismo kind of experience mixed with a lot of the features that are not present in those games that the PC community have had for a long time but never been experienced on console, then there you are. That's what Project Cars is in a nutshell.
Okay, one other thing. If the cars out there, can actually players mod their cars, and if so, what kind of modifications can they put onto their cars?
So all the cars come race spec, and there's multiple reasons for that. One is because we're kind of representing lots of different kind of motorsports, so they all need to fit to a specific class and category. The other thing is because we wanted to get away from the usual kind of grind for cash that many of those previous games have had. There are competing products out there which are on their 5th and 6th versions, and every single one of those feels exactly the same, that you start off in a very slow car, you then have to grind for cash or earn XP to kind of unlock cars or buy them, things like that, and eventually over time you eventually get to the one you actually want to drive. And we're all kind of a bit sick of that. We're all of a similar kind of age, where we've experienced that already, and now we kind of want to have the freedom to kind of jump into lots of different things, because we live in a world where we're all kind of vying for attention on Facebook and Twitter and our mobile phones and our 3DSs and things like that, So our time that we have to actually spend in the actual game is a little bit less nowadays. And a new generation of gamers, like the kids who are here at EGX, today, they're used to kind of new kind of gameplay experiences like Minecraft, where it's kind of a more open sandbox kind of thing. The Sims 4 has just launched, and that's kind of more of a no-win scenario, kind of open world kind of thing. So, with Project Cars, that's the way we approach career, that's the way we approach the progression mechanic. There's no currencies in there at all. But when it comes to the cars themselves, although you can't mod them, you can still extensively tune them. So we feel that this is kind of an area that's been it's been in games before, tuning and things like that, but it's always seen as a bit of a dark art. Like only a few kind of key people know what you actually do underneath the hood of a car. And if you look back on our previous games, we've tried to always teach you little bits about the cars, whether it's about the actual what the different sliders and things like that do, because you look at that screen and you think it's just full of sliders and controls and all the gauges, things like that, and gear ratios and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, we've kind of gone a little bit further this time around and added in a troubleshooting section, so you can say, I'm going into a corner and the back end keeps coming out, so it's phrased exactly like that, exactly like you would talk to me, or like we would talk to each other, like if you were in a real drivers in a pit garage or something like that. And that's kind of going to help you out, hopefully, with giving you the kind of insight into, if I change this slider over here and this one over here, then it's going to actually improve, it's going to get me to reach my goal of what the problem was on the actual car.
Okay. One thing that really did interest me is that you've got this system in place that if you're playing on Brands Hatch and it's raining on one day and you go into that, onto that track, is it right to say that the actual weather will be the same as if it was raining in real time?
Yeah, so what we've done is every time we make a new game, we always categorize things into either best-in-class features or innovations, and weather is one of those things that it was the #1 community feature requested. Of all the things that people wanted, weather was top of the list right there, and we wanted to get to it as well. We wanted to get to it in our previous games, but actually when you think about weather, it actually snowballs into other features. If it starts to rain, then you actually need to be able to change your tyres and adapt to the rain, so that means you've got to have pit stops. It would be great if you had some sort of inclination that there was rain about to come, so we've included a pit engineer who's going to inform you of that stuff, and the pit engineer then also tells you about incidents on the track and all that kind of stuff as well. So when we add weather in there, we wanted to make sure that it was dynamic, as you said, so that it actually starts raining and things like that, and also when we're doing weather, we want it to be accurate to real life as well. So if we're doing weather and we're doing time of day, then the simplest way, and it sounds strange, but the simplest way of actually doing it was to model the near solar system around the track. So every track has a GPS location, and therefore we know exactly where it is on kind of a virtual Earth. And then if we model the sun and the moon and all the constellations around it, then it's kind of automatically done, therefore. And therefore we can just assign a atmosphere and a climate to each track as well, so that the sun in Dubai looks very different to the sun in Brands Hatch, for example. And then we give you a feature where you can actually dial the track day to either today. You can download the latest weather data from the web, or you could dial it back to a date in history, and it will try to accurately reflect what it was like at that moment in time. So if you've been to Brands Hatch, for example, and you've seen a race on a Thursday or a Saturday usually, and you have a very distinct memory that 5:30 the sun was setting over the last corner as the cars were coming round. When you go and play it in Project Cars, it's exactly how you remember it. So that's great for your personal memory, but it's also great for our real-life racing drivers who are now using Project Cars as a teaching mechanic. They're using it to learn and practice, for example, the Le Mans 24-hour in the game. And they know that Project Cars is so accurate to real life that it's actually a completely valuable, competent way of actually practicing for the real thing.
Well, thank you very much, guys. You've obviously been here with Project Cars. If you'd like to see more interviews and videos, be sure to check out our YouTube channel. And I've been here joined with Andy Tudor. Thank you very much.